Why did I become a diplomat? I think that for me, like for many of you, the house I grew in was very influential. The home, my father and mother played a critical role. They not only influenced me, but they inspired me. I was very lucky. My mom was a feminist. She did not call herself a feminist, but she was at a time where it was not so easy for women to make their own way, to make their own career. She taught me to be independent, to follow my dream, to turn challenges into opportunities. Both my parents were immigrants. Both of them immigrated to the state of Israel as very young kids. My father immigrated from Poland in 1935 as a young kid with his parents. Don't forget that Israel was established, modern-day Israel, in 1948, and he immigrated in 1935. He came with his family following their dream, the dream that was shared by many Jews around the world, to make the land of Israel into their home, a home where they can be independent, and more importantly, where they can be free. It's not easy to immigrate. My mother also immigrated from Bulgaria. Later on, she was still a kid, with the same hope, with the same inspiration, with the same wish and dream to fulfill their aspiration to make Israel an independent country, a country where they can live in freely. So this is the house I grew in. Every day, every night, knowing that my parents have worked very hard to cement the foundation of this new country. Don't forget, Israel was a startup, a real startup, with many challenges, still today. You needed to be an innovator. You needed to be creative in order to overcome those challenges. And growing up every day with both my parents, this was their dream, but it became part of who I was. It became my dream as well. Serving one's country, it sounds very, to us today, I think, sometimes corny, not very cool. But in the house I grew in, it was very fulfilling, because it's not enough to assist a country when it's just being born. You have to work throughout the years, throughout the decades, to make sure that the seeds actually will grow into something that is more sustainable. And I can tell you that when I did become a diplomat, my father gave me the Declaration of Independence, Israel's Declaration of Independence. It's a document that contains the articles that will guide the way for the new country. Why did he give it to me? Because he really thought that as a young diplomat, I was young at the time when I started, I should have a guidance, something to guide me in my daily work. And I can tell you that in the office that I work in, and you're all more than welcome to come, it's the first thing that I put on my wall in every mission that I have, in every country that I've served. It's the first thing that goes on the wall. It's the last thing that I take when I conclude my mission and I move to the next post or I move back home. So this is the home I grew in. Another important fact about the house I grew in is that my father and mother were very different in their political views. Shocking, but true. My father came from the left, my mother came from the right, and huge ideological differences in a young country that was just being born. Huge ideological differences, political, economic, and also social. So everything that I heard about, every political occurrence, every economic development was thoroughly debated at my home. I didn't think about it much at the time, I have to say. As a kid, I remember that I did not like the argument so much because it was constantly about everything, but I can appreciate it as an adult because it gave me the opportunity to really look at things from different perspectives. And today, as a diplomat, I'm able to do so. At some point in life, I really wanted to become a journalist. I did not think at that time about being a diplomat, only later in life. when I became a student, I thought that becoming a diplomat would actually will suit me better. It will enable me to serve better Israel. And if you think about it, the reason I wanted to be a journalist is because that I like going after a story. I like exploring new opportunities. I like meeting new people. I like really looking at what I can do together with them. And that's what I thought I liked about being a journalist, those exposés. I had it figured out in my head, that one day I'll be famous because I've exposed something and I've led to something. But thinking about it, being a diplomat has many similarities. Also, as a diplomat, you get to explore new destinations, new cultures, new people. You look for new opportunities. You look for good stories in the sense that it will be good for you, for your country, and for the country that you're serving in. That's what I do constantly. I'm looking for things that I can do together, Israel and the country that I'm serving in. As a journalist, you want to change the world. That's what I wanted to do. And I feel that as a diplomat, you also want to change the world. You want to make it a better world. You want to assist where you can. Certainly, you will assist your own country, but once again, the country that you're serving in, the projects that you are doing, the things that you are doing together, how and why and where can you change together? And this is one of the reasons I chose to be a diplomat. I joined the Foreign Service in 1995, and I've been doing it ever since. I have to say that moving every few years is something that I like. As I said, I like challenges, and I like looking at new opportunities and looking at what I can do together. It's not easy on my family. Part of them are here today. It's not easy. People tend to envy diplomats. Well, you move, you tour. But being always the new kid on the block, I can tell you, is not easy for them. But I'm very, very fortunate that my family believes the same as I do. And we've been doing it for many, many years now. I started my career in Kenya, Nairobi. Then I moved also, I served in Los Angeles. I served in New York. And in 2012, I came to Vietnam. Why did I choose to come to Vietnam? So coming to Vietnam for the first time, long before I became a diplomat, was in 1991. I did my military service. In Israel, it's mandatory to go to the army. I did 2 years in the Air Force. And then after the army, we have this wonderful tradition. We go and travel the world. A few months, some do it for a few years, but we just go and travel the world before we settle down. So I chose Asia, and I chose to come to Vietnam in 1991, before we had diplomatic relations. For me, Vietnam was an exotic place that I've only read about, mostly about the wars that took place in Vietnam, and I wanted to get to know the people behind the news, behind the wars. I started in Ho Chi Minh City. I remember when I landed here. And I made my way through all the way to the north. I met wonderful people. Vietnam at the time was very, very different from what we all know today. Very poor country. The people in the north were more closed than the people in the south. It was not always easy to make conversation. But I really fell in love with the colors, with the people, with the smells, with the food. And a month and a half traveling here, low budget, low cost, was not enough. So in 2012, when I was offered this opportunity, I took it happily. Once again, as I do in every mission, I packed my home, my house, my children, my husband, and of course the Declaration of Independence. And in August 2012, we moved here. I have to say that the last 4.5 years have been quite a journey, a great journey for me and for my family as well. I've seen that the country is going through changes, and I feel that through my work, I was able to be part of some of the changes that Vietnam is going through. I look at the agriculture sector, for example, and the high-tech that is coming to the country. More is needed, but the changes that are already taking place are great. And I know that my country has assisted in it and will continue to do so. I look at the startup community. This is something I'm very proud. You know, when I came in August 2012, very few people spoke about startups. Even fewer really understood what the startup means. And through the work we've done, many players in the international community, not only us, not only Israel, but I knew that Israel is a leader in the startups in the world, a country that has built a very special ecosystem, can assist Vietnam in building its own ecosystem. And indeed, policies have been formulated in the last few years, but what is really great to see is the younger generation, the startupists themselves that are daring to follow their dream. They look at the challenges, they turn it into opportunities, and some succeed, some don't. This is the story of the startups. But it's great to see these changes. I will be leaving very soon, in a couple of months. I will be concluding 5 years here, almost 5 years. Once again, I'll be packing my family, my home, my kids, my husband, and the Declaration, of course, of Independence. It will come last. I really feel proud of the years that I've spent here, the people I met with, the project that, through my work, I was able to implement together, both for Vietnam and from Israel. I feel inspired here, and hopefully I did contribute to the changes that Vietnam is going through. I will be moving to a new assignment, following my dream, looking for challenges and opportunities in my next assignment as well, and following the dream of my parents, which became my dream, to represent Israel and to make sure that the seeds that were planted many years ago actually continue to grow. So thank you very much. This is my story. Thank you very much for listening.